Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear grade 10 students, hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to deal with simultaneous equations. In this video, guys, we're going to identify the meaning of simultaneous equations. We're going to solve a pair of simultaneous equations by using three different methods. What is the meaning of simultaneous equations? Previously, guys, we learned how to deal with one equation in one variable, such like 4x plus 2 equals 16, for example. Here, guys, we can solve this equation. We can find out the value of x because we have one equation in one variable. But sometimes, if you're given one equation in two variables, such like this one, we cannot solve such equation because we have one equation and two variables. So, guys, we need to work with another equation in the same variables. So we're going to have two equations and two variables. How to solve these pair of equations? This is our today's lesson. But before we start our today's lesson, how to solve simultaneous equations, I need to explain what is the meaning of simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations, guys, is a system of two equations or more. Okay, so we are required to work with the two equations simultaneously, and so this system is called simultaneous equations. We know that every linear equation could be represented by a straight line. For example, this one in green could be represented by this straight line. I'm not very accurate, but actually it does the trick. And the second one could be represented by this straight line. So, guys, here we are given that there is an intersection point between the two straight lines. And by solving this pair of simultaneous equations, you can find out the value of x and y that satisfies the two equations. When you find out this ordered pair, actually you can find out the intersection point between the two lines. Let's have some examples to make it clear. Example number 1, we are given two equations and we are required to solve this pair of simultaneous equations. Or actually we need to find out the value of x, which makes the two equations equal to each other. So, guys, here we go, and I call it equation number 1, and this is y equals 2x, and I will call it equation number 2. And here, guys, let's think of these two equations. When I solve simultaneous equations, my target is to make one equation in one variable. Instead of having two equations in two variables, you need to get rid of one variable so that you can make one equation in one variable. Let's have a look right here in equation number 2. We're given the value of y equals 2x. Why not substitute in the first equation by the value of y from the second equation? How can you do it? It's very easy. Here, guys, we have x plus y equals 15. And from the second equation, I can substitute for y by 2x so that I can cancel one variable and make one equation in one variable. Here we have 3x equals 15. And by dividing the two sides by 3 in order to get rid of this coefficient, so you will have x equals 5. And now, guys, since you have the value of x, you can substitute by x in any of these two equations to find out the value of y. So let me substitute in the second equation. I know that y equals 2x, so I can say y equals 2 multiplied by 5, so y equals 10. And before you go, guys, you need to make a very quick check. So let me check here. Since you have the values of x and y, why not to substitute them in the two equations to see that whether your answer correct or wrong? Let's start with the first equation. I know that x plus y equals 15. We have x equals 5, y equals 10, so the answer will be 15, so my answer is perfect. If you want to check in the second equation, the answer will be true. So, guys, we have the solution to this pair of simultaneous equations to be the point 5 and 10. So, if you graph the two linear equations, the intersection point between these 2 points is actually 5 and 10. And now let's go to the second part of this question. And if you have, so guys, here also we are given two equations. We need to solve this pair of simultaneous equations. I'm gonna rewrite the two equations. The first one here, guys, in equation number 2 we are given the exact value, the direct value of x. We know that x equals 3y. So instead of having two equations in two variables, I need to make one equation in one variable using these two equations. It's very easy now to get rid of x right here and substitute for x by its value right here in equation number 2. So let me rewrite this equation. And now, guys, we can get rid of x and write down the value of x, which is 3y. We can deal with this equation since we have one equation in one variable. So it will be 4y equals 24. By dividing by 4, you get y equals 6. And now let's find out the value of x. We have y equals 6. Why not to substitute in any of these two equations? So from equation number 1, I know that x plus y and y is 6 equals 24. By subtracting 6 from both sides, x equals, let me check this answer in the second equation. I know that x equals 3y. So the value of x equals 18 equals 3 multiplied by y, which is 6. So the answer 18 equals 18. So guys, the answer is correct. And now guys, let's have a look at these two equations and try to get rid of one variable and make one equation in only one variable using these two equations. Here we are given the direct and exact value of y equals 3x minus 2. So as we did before, all you need to do is to get rid of one variable to make one equation in one variable. So guys, here in the first equation we have x plus y equals 20. But in the second equation, we are given that y equals 3x minus 2. So why not to erase y and write down the value of y, which is 3x minus 2. And when you have this in more than one term, it would be better to make it between two brackets. And simply because if you have a negative sign right here and instead this positive sign, you need to change all the signs inside this bracket. So guys, let's continue. Now we can get rid of the two brackets. So x plus, we have here a positive 1 as a coefficient. So 1 times 3x, simply 3x, nothing changes. 1 times negative 2, simply negative 2. All of that equals 20. And now let's compile like terms. We have 4x. And now guys, we have x to be by divided by 4. 22 over 4, 5.5. And now after you find out the value of x, you need to substitute in one of these two equations to find out the value of y. So let me substitute right here in equation number 2. I know that y equals 3x minus 2. Y equals, and the value of x is 5.5 minus 2. Let's multiply. So y equals 14.5. Let's substitute in the first equation by the values of x and y. I know that x plus y equals 20. So here we are given that x 5.5, 14.5. So their sum actually equals 20. So the answer is correct. Here guys, we are given two equations, but actually here we are not given the exact value or the direct value of any of these two variables. Some students might think that we can isolate x and substitute for x in the first equation, and that will be true. But it takes us many steps and long time. Here guys, we can get rid of one of these two variables. We have x and y, we have x and y. This one is positive, this one is negative. So by adding the two equations, we can get rid of y. So let's add the two equations. X plus x simply equals 2x. Y plus negative y cancel out each other. And now 6 plus 14 simply equals 20. And this, so by dividing by 2 right and left, we have x to beta. After that, you need to find out the value of y. So you can substitute in any of these two equations. So I know that x plus y equals 6. This is from the first equation. 10 plus y equals by subtracting 10 from both sides, you will have y equals 6 minus 10. So y equals -4. So the solution to this pair of simultaneous equation will be the point which is 10 and -4, which is the intersection point between these two straight lines. And now guys, if you need, you can check your answer. And of course, it would be better every time to check the answer. Minus negative becomes positive 4, so it will be 14. 14 equals 14, so the answer is correct. I know that y must be equal to y. So guys, here we have y equals 2x plus 4. This is the first equation. And y equals 10 minus x, the second equation. Y equals y. We have 2x plus 4. It must be equal to 10 minus x. And now we have one equation in one variable on both sides. Let's compile like terms. Let's move negative x to the other side with opposite sign. So we have 2x plus x, which is equal to 10. And let's move 4 to the other side. It will be -4. And now guys, we have this. We have 3x equals 6. And by dividing by 3, we have x equals 2. And now let's go and find out the value of y. In the second equation, I know that y equals 10 minus x. Y equals 10 minus 2. Y equals 8. So the intersection point between these two straight lines will be at the point 2 and 8. And this is the solution to this pair of simultaneous equations. But as we do every time, we need to check our answer. So, in the first equation, we are given that y equals 2x plus 4. Let's check whether our answer is correct or wrong. Here we have y to be 8. So, does it equal 2 multiplied by 2 plus 4? So, 8 equals 2 times 2, 4 plus 4 equals 8. So, and now guys, you are required to pause the video and solve these pairs of simultaneous equations on your own. Now guys, we understand what is the meaning of simultaneous equations, what is the meaning of solving simultaneous equations, and we have solved some simultaneous equations, but now we're going to have some methods in order to make a plan to solve these simultaneous equations with. So guys, here the first method is called elimination. And what do I mean by elimination? Elimination is to get rid of one of the two variables by adding or subtracting the two equations. Let's have the first example. Here we are given these two simultaneous equations, and my target is to find out the value of x and the value of y. By writing the two equations vertically like this, we can compare between the two equations. So guys, here we are given that 5x and 2x, the two variables. Here we have 5x and 2x, and actually they have different coefficients. But y and negative y, actually they have the same coefficient to be 1. But this one is positive and here is negative. So guys, in one step we can get rid of y and make one equation in one variable, which is x. But how to get rid of y right here? It will be very easy by adding the two equations. So here guys, we have 5x plus 2x equals 7x. Y and negative y cancel out each other, so you can get rid of them. And now let's go and substitute for x in one of these two equations. So let's pick equation number 2. It will be 2x minus y equals 6. I know that x equals 4. 2 multiplied by 4 minus y will be 6. and from that y equals 2. And now guys, as usual, so let's pick the first equation since we used the second equation to find out the value of y. And now let's go and substitute in the first equation. I know that 5x plus y equals 22. So 5 multiply the value of x, which is 4, plus 2. Does it equal 22? Actually, we have it true. So 22 equals 22. And since we have both sides are equal, so my answer is correct. And now after writing the two equations vertically, let's compare the coefficients. Here we have 5x, we have 1x. They don't have the same coefficient. 2y and 2y, they actually have the same coefficient okay guys, by adding these two equations, we get nothing. We will have the same two variables. But by subtracting the two equations, we can get rid of y. So guys, let's subtract the two equations. So here, instead of adding, we're going to subtract. And the reason is very easy. For example, if I have 5 minus the bracket of 2x plus 5. In order to get rid of the brackets, we need to multiply both terms by -1, since we have here a -1 as a coefficient. So it will be 5 minus -1 multiplied by 2x will be -2x. And -1 multiplied by 5 will be -5. So you can simplify this. That's why when you subtract the two equations, you need to change the signs of terms right here. And now let's subtract them. 5x minus x equals 4x. And 2y and -2y cancel out each other, leaves me with 13 minus 9, which is 4. And from this, by dividing by 4, x equals 1. And now let's go and substitute for x in any of these two equations. Let me pick equation number 1. So 5x plus 2y equals 13. 5 multiplied by x, which is 5 times 1, it will be 5. And now 2y equals 13 minus 5. So 2y equals 8, y equals 4. And now let's find out the value of x. From equation number 2, I know that x plus 2y equals 9. So here we have 5. The second method we're going to need to find out the solution of a pair of system equations is by substitution. In this method, guys, we need to substitute the value of one variable from one equation into the other one. And we actually had some examples which explained how to solve these equations. But let's have this example. So guys, after you write down the two equations like this, you are given here the exact value of y in the first equation. So from the first equation, we need to substitute by the value of y in the second one. So in the second equation, 3x plus 4 multiplied by y, and you need to get rid of y and write down the value of y in terms of x. It will be like this. And now guys, let's get rid of the brackets. It will be 3x plus, here we have positive 4. So positive 4 times 2x equals 8x. And here positive 4 times 3 equals 12. That equals to 1. And now by simplifying and compiling like terms, we have 3x plus 8x to be 11x. And now you move 12 to the other side with the opposite sign. So it will be minus 1 minus 12. So we have 11x equals negative 11. From this, by dividing by 11, so x equals negative 1. And now let's go and find out the value of y. In the first equation, I know that y equals 2x plus 3. So y equals 2 multiplied by negative 1 plus 3. So y equals 1. And now let's check the answer. I take the second equation. I know that 3x plus 4y equals 1. So 3 multiplied by the value of x, which is negative 1, plus 4 multiplied by 1. Does it equal 1? I'm going to make sure right now. So since left hand side equals right hand side, so the answer is correct. And now guys, let's move to example number. Here guys, we are given the exact value and the direct value of y. And as you know, we can get rid of y by substituting the value of y in the first equation in order to have one equation in one variable. So let's do so. Here we have equation number 1, equation number 2, and from equation number 2, by substituting in equation number 1, we get this. 2x minus 3 multiplied by y, and now we need to substitute for y by its value from the second equation, which is x minus 1. And all of that equals 15. Here guys, I need you to take care when you're dealing with negative coefficients of a bracket. So 2x remains 2x without any change. Here guys, this bracket actually is multiplied by negative 3. So negative 3 multiplied by x equals negative 3x. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 1 equals 3. So all of that equals 15. And now we can simplify this equation and find out the value of x. 2x minus 3x simply equals negative x plus 3 equals 15. And now by subtracting 3 from both sides, so we'll get negative x equals 12. And from here we can say that by multiplying both sides by negative 1, we have x to be negative 12. And now let's find out the value of y. In the second equation, I know that y equals x minus 1. So y equals negative 12 minus 1. So y equals negative 13. And now guys, I need to check my answer. And 3y plus 4x equals 13. In this case, we don't have same coefficients. So in order to add the two equations, actually we cannot eliminate one of these variables. Even by subtracting, we cannot get rid of one of these variables. So guys, we will need to change one or both equations to obtain identical terms so you can add or subtract them. And by solving the following examples, it will be very clear and understood. Okay guys, so let's have example number 1. Here guys, we are given two equations. Let me label them. Here we are required to find out the solution to this pair of simultaneous equations. If you think you could add the two equations and get rid of one variable, actually it doesn't help. If you think we could subtract and get rid of one of these two variables, also it doesn't help. So guys, here we need to make a balance coefficients. What do I mean by this? I need to change one of these coefficients in order to be like the one in the other equation, so that we can add or subtract two equations and get rid of one of these two variables. So let's have a look right here. Here guys, the coefficient here for x, 5x and 4x. So the coefficients are 5 and 4. And it's not easy to change 5 to be 4. So guys, my target right here is to make same coefficients. So guys, can we make 5 4 by multiplying by an integer? Actually, we can't. Can we make 4, 5? Actually, we can't. By multiplying by integer, we cannot. So let's move to the coefficients of y. Here we have 2 and we have negative 4. So can we make 2, 4? Yes, I think we can by multiplying by 2. So 2 multiplied by 2 simply equals 4. And after making this, you can add the two equations and get rid of y. By multiplying equation 1 by 2. 5x multiplied by 2 will be 10x plus 4y multiplied by 2 equals, 2y multiplied by 2 equals 4y. 4 multiplied by 2 equals 8. And actually we have the same equation just like number 1, but I call it equation number 3. But actually 1 and 3 are the same equations. And here, guys, we have equation number 2. Let's list it right here. And now let's add the two equations. 10x plus 4x equals 14x. 4y and negative 4y cancel out each other, and that equals to 19. So, guys, x equals 19 over 14. And now let's go and find out the value of y. Let's have the first one, which is 5x plus 2y equals to be 95 plus 2y equals 4. And here, guys, we need to get rid of this fraction. So by subtracting this fraction from both sides, or just move it to the other side with a negative sign. So 2y equals 4 minus 95 over 14. 2y equals negative 39 over 14. And now by dividing by 2 both sides, so y equals negative 39 divided by 14 equals negative 39 over 28. And this is the value of. By using the calculator, you find out 4 multiplied by 19 over 14 to be 38 over 7 minus 39 over 7. So by adding 38 plus 39, you get 77. So 77 over 7 simply equals 11. 11 equals 11. So left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So my answer is correct. That's all, guys, for today's session. Thank you so much for listening. See you inshallah the next time. And the next video will be how to solve word problem using the simultaneous equation. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Bye bye.